friends, neighbors, hooligans, artisans, and everybody else who is watching. Welcome. I am Raina, the Witch of What the F, and I am so glad you are here today for my hometown collaboration with This Little Piggy. I have the distinct pleasure today of introducing you to two new pigment colors from This Little Piggy. Whitehaven, which is a beautiful white sandy beach color named after the Whitehaven Beach in Australia, and beautiful Afterglow, which is this insanely gorgeous pink that's almost got a tad bit of peach to it, and I think it's named after the afterglow of some other activity. You all know what I'm thinking, don't you? Yes, horseback riding, of course. Horseback riding. Or maybe it is eating cheese curds and being part of a cheese curd eating contest. Regardless, I'm happy to show you around today. We're going to get right into things. For my pillow paint, I use PPG Multi-Pro Interior. This is an eggshell and it is just plain white. This stuff's amazing though. If you're in the US and you can get this, I highly recommend it because it is the perfect consistency. Amsterdam Acrylics in Prussian Blue. This is a beautiful deep blue Prussian color. It is semi-transparent, so if you're looking for something opaque, you might have to mix it with like a black or some other shade of blue that is opaque, but this color alone is splendid. In this painting, I am featuring a third brand new TLP color. It is called Hammerhead. And Hammerhead is this perfectly wonderful steel blue that's great for ocean or sky scenes. And my scene is both sky and water, so I could not pass up using this beautiful, beautiful brand new color that we've got. There's a lot of different shades of blue and water in the sky, so I had to use a couple to get the effect that I wanted. And also, I always get best results when I'm using both tube paints and pigments. The other color I am using is Pepio Studio Acrylics, high viscosity. This is iridescent blue black, and this is just a stunner of a color because depending on the angle at which you view it, it changes. Highly recommended. This is a hometown collaboration, and I had to think about ways to incorporate both Afterglow and Whitehaven into a town where I cannot think where either of these colors show up naturally at all. So after a few days of thinking about it, I thought, aha, my entire basis is the sunset over the frozen Mississippi, not to be mistaken with a Mississippi ice cream cake or ice cream pie, which is quite tasty, but not what this video is about, though. Now that I think about it, I would really like a slice. You know where to find me. Crosse, Wisconsin. We are presently somewhere between the 6th and the 10th drunkest country in the city, but did I say drunkest country in the city? Do you know why I said that? Because I'm drinking. Yeah. We are somewhere between the 6th and 10th drunkest city in the country in any given year, depending on all of the different polls and all of that. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Beautiful, beautiful Whitehaven. It looks white, but there is just enough of that sand color in it to make it the perfect white sand beach color. No water or sky scene would be complete without Velvet by TLP. Velvet is this incredibly beautiful interference pigment. It turns blue when you apply it either over white or black or any sort of mid-tone, and you just shift it a little bit, you can see these incredible blue tones pop out. It makes everything even more beautiful than it already was. Now that I have created the water effect, I am on to the sunset effect. I am starting with a layer of Whitehaven, and that is just to kind of separate the water and the sky, but also give you that illusion of sunset on snow. For the brightest part of my sunset, I am using Liquitex Basics in Fluorescent Red. The color orange I wanted didn't exist by itself, so I made a custom color, and I used all TLPs. I used Mosh, which is neon orange, and it has no sparkle on it. This is from the Disco line, so it is blacklight responsive. To that, I added in some TLP in Mango, which is a gorgeous lighter orange with a lot of shimmer, but I wanted to lighten it up even just a titch more to play with the afterglow, so I added in some TLP in Golden Peach. So I mixed the three oranges together to get that sunset orange. I started pouring things a little bit like not necessarily out of order, but putting the paints on the bottom and the piggies on the top just to get the best action, cell action. To bring in the pink and mix it with what's going to be purple, I brought in Pebeo. This is another of the iridescent colors. This is blue red. This also is a stunning color. It's kind of pink, but it's kind of purpley, and if you look at it from some angles, you can catch the blue. But this is a absolutely gorgeous color. This whole line I highly recommend if you like iridescent paints, and these work so incredibly well with the bloom recipes. Now you'll see that the custom mixed orange and that iridescent blue, red, pink are bordering each other, and they make the perfect bed for Afterglow, the brand new color. I love this stuff. You think it might be similar to Fairy Floss or Hustle if you are already This Little Piggy customer or you've been watching it for a while, but it's truly in its own. Fairy Floss is maybe a lot more purple, where this is more on the warm side, and it is gorgeous, and it is absolutely perfect if you are into doing sunrise or sunset pieces. After I laid that down, I gave another layer of Pebeo Iridescent in blue black. This is the same color that I used down below in the water. I then put on the top layer, which is again Amsterdam Acrylic in Prussian Blue, which is the same as the very bottom of the water, because when you put the dark on the top and the dark on the bottom and all the colors in the middle, it helps you create a little bit of perspective. To bridge the gap, bridge the gap between my iridescent pink and my iridescent blue-gray, I created a custom mix of purple using 2 TLP colors. I started with Enchantment. This is mostly Enchantment, and this is just a stunningly beautiful purple that's got a slight bit of gold to it. And then I added a little bit of Nightfall, which is my favorite purple on all the planet. I love these two, and I love them together. I would say it was probably about 75% Enchantment and 25% Nightfall to get the color that I've got today. And to top it all off and join all the colors together, I am adding one more layer of Hammerhead, again echoing from the water below. Because I am doing a winter scene with an icy river and wintry clouds, I added in a healthy amount of Whitehaven to intersperse through the clouds and just kind of give you that extra level, you know, a silver lining, if you will, even though this is definitely more on the gold side than silver. And to make the whole thing extra magical, I added even more velvet. I'm working with 2 different cell activators today. The first one is silver that I then tinted blue. I used Atelier Interactive in silver, and I tinted it with 1 drop of Amsterdam Acrylic in Prussian Blue. I mixed that up with Australian Floetrol, and then right before I was ready to pour, I beat the crap out of it with one of these really fun, I think technically it's a milk frother, but it's really amazing for making your cell activator totally bubbly and frothy before you paint. I layered my palette knife with white cell activator, titanium white by Amsterdam Acrylic. I also like the Atelier white, and those are the 2 that I go to, and basically nothing else has ever worked for me. So if whatever you're using doesn't work for you, maybe try one of these 2 brands and you may have better luck. I'm using a large palette knife. These are available on fluidart.co, and I've also got some smaller palette knives too that I'm using for more detailed work, and you can get those pretty much anywhere. If you're new to my channel and you are enjoying my incredibly strange sense of humor and anything else that I am doing, please hit like and subscribe and hit the bell so you will know that I have put out a new video. Though I am not quite as frequent with the videos as other people, I work like 4 jobs, so you know, I try to get done when I can, but stick around because I've got a lot of fun things in store, a lot of really interesting mixed media art projects that I think that people haven't seen before and are going to be pretty excited about. While you're at it, follow me on Instagram. My tag is @PaintedRaina, which is someplace on the screen. And you can check the description box below for my website, which is witchofwtf.com, or just my shop, which is driftlessenchantments.com, and all of my other social links, including TikTok, which I have to give in. I have to give in to not wanting to do it, and I'm gonna have to learn, and yeah, social media, it's like you learn one and then another one comes along and then you have to abandon ship and learn that one, and well, such is life, and that is why wine comes in a box. I never stop at one swipe. It's not that I have an addictive personality, but I also can never stop at one Pringle either. I also felt that I just didn't have nearly enough water in comparison to Sunset, even though I was thinking probably the top 2/3 Sunset and the bottom third water, because, you know, in art, it's always best to go by the rule of thirds. I still just didn't have enough water, hence adding a little bit of the 3 shades again in the corners, and that's the Prussian Blue, the Pepio Iridescent Blue, Black, and Hammerhead with Whitehaven and Velvet. It's kind of a lot. Even though I've used an absolute boatload of pillow paint, I still didn't get quite enough on the lower left-hand corner, and you will see that I am taking some of the paint that dripped off the canvas and adding it back to the canvas so I can drip it off again, but I just need enough paint there to create enough pull to pull the paint over the corner. And that is why I am doing that. That's not actually for any sort of visible artistic effect when it's all said and done. That is literally just to pull the paint off the canvas, because I didn't add enough in those corners. Sometimes things just don't work out the way we planned. Before I painted the painting that you are seeing in this video, I painted another painting, and I thought that that one was beautiful. And I thought that that one was the winner. That was going to be the collab piece. And then when I took my camera off the stand, I realized it stopped filming 8 minutes into the video. Presenting my other beautiful sunset painting. I was so proud of that one. I nearly cried when I found out that it didn't film. Are you crying? There's no crying in painting. I feel like it's that scene from A League of Their Own. Hence, we have video number 2, and honestly, I think this one turned out a little bit better. What do you think? For this collaboration, we were given the prompt of my hometown, each of us, and it was a bit of a challenge to think about how to incorporate the colors into portraying La Crosse. And La Crosse's most well-known landmark is the Big Blue Bridge, and I thought I will laser cut a big blue bridge and I will affix it to a painting of the sunset over the Mississippi. So I am showing you the SVG file that I am now cutting out on my Laserbox. It is an xTool Laserbox Rotary. If you're interested in getting a laser, I have a code in the description box that you can save some money with. These things are awesome. It's like the king of all crickets, the mother of crickets. Like if you like your cricket, having a laser is pretty much the best thing on earth. They're a little expensive, but if you have a business, you can get a business loan, and you know, if you can pay it off in 2 years or something, you are all set. That's what I'm doing. You know, I'm hoping. Actually, my craft fairs have been going really well ever since I got that, because now I can make like 20 pair of earrings in the time that it used to take me to make one, so winning. Now I'm showing you demasking the acrylic. It comes with tape or mask on both sides that you just peel or weed off. Now I have the conundrum of affixing it to one of my paintings. I had some fun times with this collaboration because I made 3 paintings in total. The very second one you are seeing right now, I was so thrilled with. I was so happy about it, and the camera quit after 8 minutes for absolutely no reason whatsoever. The third one that you watched me paint previously in this video was not dry, and I'm on a tight deadline, so I thought, what about that first one? Because that one, I was thinking of like painting a pirate ship on the rollicking waters, but then I thought, oh, I bet. And lo and behold, perfect place for the bridge, because the colors only accentuate and the bridge doesn't detract from it at all. It actually makes it look like a real piece of art. I'm being hard on myself, I know. But sometimes magic happens even with paintings that you don't think are very good, and that is why I do not scrape, ever. So I'm like banging shit around in my studio. I don't scrape. I paint it, I let it dry, and if I really hate it, I'll paint over it later. But you just never really know what you might get out of these things, particularly if you enjoy embellishments at all. You know, be it with other paint, with resin. You know, you could like top coat it with some sort of varnish or resin and then do alcohol inks on the top. You could do like laser cutting, you could do Cricut, you could do 3D mixed media. It is endless. So don't scrape. You know, you're cutting yourself short if you are expecting perfection every single time you paint. It's not gonna happen, ever. Now, to get this painting to look the way I wanted it in my head, I of course have to do some doctoring, some embellishments. So I've taped off a section, and then I am highlighting the river portion with Whitehaven, Afterglow, and my mix of the 3 orange colors to kind of work those sunsetty colors and just also lighten it up like it is a snowy river. Because again, this is supposed to be a winter scene, even though it is 95 degrees today and it's in the middle of June and I am sweating and you can see it. I kind of really hate winter though, so I'll take this 95 degree stuff any day. Once I've got that looking the way I do, I removed the tape once it was dry, of course, added tape on the other side of that demarcation, and then added some trees, you know, because when you look at the Mississippi, when you're going down under the bridge, it's not like we have open water. There's no ocean anywhere nearby, you know, so you're seeing the land and you're seeing the trees in the distance. So I decided to just kind of sponge those in with an actual sea sponge. And I am using that strange gray color. That was a total mistake in picture 1. I thought it was blue, but no, it was definitely gray. So I'll just carry it on, and I'm using that for the first round of trees. I'm following that up with Amsterdam acrylics in graphite. This is a dark color. It's like a gray, but it's got gold in it. So it's actually, you know, rather flattering in anything that you need a dark color, but it's not cold. Though really, when you think about a winter scene, you would think it should be cold. Not with Whitehaven and Afterglow in orange. It's a warm winter scene, so graphite was the perfect choice. I decided to try to make the sky a little bit more pink, but I didn't want to do it with any sort of fluid medium because I didn't want any sort of obvious lines. That would just have ruined the whole thing. So I thought, well, I will try to dry brush it. Now, it did make a tiny bit of difference, but the canvas is really just too slick and not sticky enough. And I did try a thin layer of hairspray to see if that would help tack it up a little bit. It didn't. But the pink did settle nicely into the lines where the cell activator was, and it did improve it. It did make it slightly more pink. Did it work the way I wanted? No, but that's okay. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I'm following that up with the Pepio iridescent blue-black that I used in the first painting, so you're acquainted with that one now. And I'm just sponging it on, using like the stippling technique with my paintbrush to basically fudge everything. It is time to affix the bridge, and the best way I could think of doing it was hot glue. And I have hot glued around the edges because obviously the bridge is not wide as the canvas, so I had to figure a way to incorporate it. So using hot glue, I put several layers on and made it kind of chunky and bumpy to look more 3D like trees would. And then I am painting it with the Amsterdam and then with the Pepio, and then I'm topping it off with Whitehaven to give it that beautiful snowy look. Ultimately, I'm really pleased with this piece. It is not what I envisioned, but it turned out better than I thought because I always want the big and the bold and the beautiful and like the in your face and just incredibly gorgeous paintings like number 2 and 3 turned out to be. But this one, as subtle as it was, just made for the absolute perfect backdrop. And it gave me a really fun opportunity to like create a line drawing of the big blue bridge and to cut it out on my laser and to make a really cool piece of 3D mixed media art. I hope that you've enjoyed it and maybe it's given you some ideas. If you ever come to La Crosse, Wisconsin, say hi. Ooh, there's me hitting stuff again. Thank you so much to This Little Piggy and Fluid Art Company for having me. I love you guys, and thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful artistic endeavor right down the road for you. Bye now.